right, so today we are going to discuss about another section of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Let me open the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta over here. Okay, so last Tuesday we discussed about self-modification, Atthakilmatthana Yoga. In that we discussed about how does Atthakilmatthana Yoga reflect in our practice, and I think you already got a question about Atthakilmatthana Yoga. In particular, how does your Sila practice lead to Atthakilmatthana Yoga if you are not really careful about the different levels of your Sila practice? Did everyone answer the question that was posted by the admin team about last Tuesday? Hopefully. Yeah. So we asked a question from you, how, what was the question? I go back. The question is either how does Sila lead to self-modification, or how can we practice Sila without engaging in self-modification? That means Sila and Atthakilmatthana Yoga, they have a very close relationship, right? So when you practice your Sila, in your case, you would take them as precepts, I would say discipline. You should be able to practice Sila without falling into self-modification, like giving pain to your body. That's very important. So self-modification to the Buddha is mostly about being involved in unnecessary Sila practices, especially the 6 years of time he spent with those practices that were recommended by the 5 ascetics and other chains. Today, we are going to discuss about the Buddha's finding. What is the Buddha's finding in terms of the path? Now, Kamasukallikana Yoga is a path to some people. It's a wrong path. And then today, Atthakilmatthana Yoga, which you studied last Tuesday, it was also a wrong path, extreme path. And the Buddha's path is about what you call middle path. Okay, middle path. I think we all have a certain understanding, especially you have an understanding that middle path means Majjhima Patipada. But Majjhima Patipada means Noble Eightfold Path. Today, let's take a look at this section, middle path, Majjhima Patipada, from 7 to 24. All right, let's read the text first. Ete te bhikkhave ubho ante anupagamma Majjhima Patipada. Not having pursued. Ubho means two, ante means extreme. Extremes are Kamasukallikana Yoga and Atthakilmatthana Yoga. Anupagam, not having pursued. Ubho means two, ante means extreme, two extremes. Ante ubho, two extremes. Anupagam means not having pursued. Majjhima Patipada, the Noble Eightfold Path, Tathagatena Abhisambhut. The Tathagata, this is the most popular term that is given to the Buddha. The Buddha, what you call, has awakened by himself, which leads to Chakku Karani, gives rise to Chakku, vision. It's not the naked vision, called Dhamma, what you call Dhammacakku. That means Dhamma eye. And Jnana Karani gives rise to knowledge. We will be studying each of these words later. Upasamaya that means leads to peace. Upasama means peace. Abhinyaya leads to direct knowledge. There are certain abhinyas that someone can gain through jhanas, but this abhinya is of course higher than those abhinya. Sambodhaya, that means full awakening. And then Nibbanaya, to Nibbana. Samvattati means leading to. Khatamacha bhikkave majjhima patipada, which is none other than the noble eightfold path. Patipada means the path. Again, you can see the same section. Tathagatena sambuddha chakku karniya upasamaya vinyaya sampradaya nibbanaya samvattati. Ayameva aryo attangiko maguna. Then it further clarifies what does Majjhima Patipada mean, middle path mean. Middle path means the noble eightfold path. Here you can see Atta. Atta means eight, Angika means four, Maggu means path. Siyadida, that is Sammaditthi. Samma means, you could translate this to be right, but I would say wholesome in its contextual meaning, but we can just even go by right. When you say right, it has wrong, polar, areas of polar opposites of the ideas. But we could just say Samma, right, being. Titi means being. Samma Sankappo, right intention. Samma Vacha, right speech. Samma Kamanto, right action. Samma Ajiva, right living. Samma Vayama, right effort. Samma Sati, right mindfulness, right awareness. Samma Samadhi, right concentrated. Then again, you can see the same phrase appears at the end. All right. Now, one question to ask at the beginning here is that why there are a lot of repetitions over here? What do you think about it? When you read a certain sutta, even this particular sutta, why you see lots of repetitions? What could be the reason behind that? Sometimes you see a lot of repetitions going at the end of suttas. What could be the reason behind that? You can just think about it. Huh? You may not be able to write anything. The reason is that when there is a repetition about the same thing at the end of any section, that clearly helps the reader or the listener to understand that particular Dhamma teaching more and more. You might think that, oh, this is plaguing the Dhamma matter. Actually, it's not plaguing the Dhamma matter. It is because that when it is repeated, that repetition, that repeated phrasing helps you to understand more and more. It's like that when somebody taught you something, they ask you, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? That kind of perspective. Yeah, got it. Section by section, it requires you to make sure that you got it or not, because Dhamma matters, they have a certain gradual presentation. On the other hand, we go back to the section over here. Okay, what are the important words over here before we go into probably some contextual understanding? Ante. Here Buddha clearly calls that the previous two paths are extremes. That means if you think that giving a lot of happiness to the body, giving a lot of calm to the body, lets you, be onto the path, that is an extreme. Also, if you think that giving a lot of pain, how to give pain? This is not the physical pain. This is the pain that you may give through your unnecessary sila. Have you seen such people again? I mean, I asked this question last week. Have you seen people who are giving a lot of pain to the body when they are going to practice some Dhamma things? One thing is meditation. Meditation should not be a painful experience. A lot of people have this issue. Sometimes they complain. I mean, they come to certain program. I think this meditation is too much for me. 1 hour. There's no, moving back and forth, right? So in the Buddhist practice, we don't have a time problem. There was no such thing called timing, meditation for a certain time. It was a meditation for a quality period, actually. That means, as you can see in the Therigata, sometimes some female bhikkhunis, some male bhikkhunis attain Nibbana only by just looking at how water fell from a higher place to a lower place. Now, how many of us have been already seen that? Even today, there was a rain here in Malaysia, other places, right? But just because we see the rain, how often we see that water comes from the gutters onto the bottom, right? So, how many of us have become enlightened by looking at how water falls down? That's the thing, right? So that means it is not just a certain meditation that helps you, it is the wisdom that you have bringing from your samsara as well. Attaining Nibbana is a sansaric experience. It's not just a one life thing that you learn Dhamma and now you should be able to attain Sutta. But some people believe that when they listen to Dhamma a couple times over a period of time, they go for some retreats for some time. Now we should be able to attain Sutta. We should be able. How come? This is a sansaric thing. You might progress, but that attaining is a sansaric activity. In order to get to that kind of a place, you need that sansaric eligibility as well, right? So even in meditation, we should not suffer. We should not bring pain to them. But you may have misunderstood certain stories of certain monks when they practice meditation. They had some extreme, experiences that are not relevant to you. As lay people, you should understand to practice a meditation which you can practice without complaints, without physical pain. I know that there are people who are learning some meditations in a way that, when you see the pain, don't change the movement. Look at the pain. Now they were looking at their breathing in the first place, and they were looking at their thoughts, and now they are looking at the pain. This is recommended for a certain enlightened person, not for normal lay people. When you look at the pain, you definitely have dosa. Why me? Why does pain not go to other people? Why me? I mean, then I say to some people, why not you? Why not you? Why me? Why not me? Why not you? That kind of a meditation is only recommended for a certain enlightened person. Like, the story which was given, this particular incident was Anathapindika's last mom. Anathapindika was an certain enlightened person. And when he said to Bhante Sariputta, Bhante, I have a very bad pain, then Bhante Sariputta told him, you can focus on the pain. Because he's an enlightened person. If he had not been enlightened, he had been partially enlightened. If he had not been partially enlightened, Bhante Sariputta would have never told him that you have to pay attention to that. Now there are people who learn that particular sutta thinking that I can also focus on pain. So it was given to Anathapindika because he was provisionally enlightened. That's not for you. So that means you have to be very careful. When you practice Dhamma, you have to be very careful. That means don't bring your practice onto another Attakilamatani. The one example is unnecessary meditation styles. And then, practicing meditation without a certain good teacher. This is one example. Another example is even other practices, sila, precepts, right? Precepts are not rules. Precepts are what you call self-discipline. You are the one who knows what you are doing, not that you show to other people. No, I don't do this, I don't eat this, I don't steal. That's not stealing. Then what happens if you are maintaining this attitude over a period of time? You have been a displayer of your sealing. You are not trying to be honest, trying to be true to yourself. You are trying to show that I have better seal than you. And that creates certain conceit, certain man. Right? Unfortunately, you've been going to practice sila, but you ended up with conceit, man. You ended up with intoxication. You ended up with attakilamatana. So be very careful. I think a lot of people can understand Kamasukallikana, but a lot of people cannot understand attakilamatana. Because it's attakilamatana yoga happens within your Dhamma practice. Kamasukallikana yoga happens within your lay life, worldly matters. That's very interesting to see. Now, along these two extremes, we are about to see Majjhima Patipada, Noble Eightfold Path. It clearly shows that never ever fall into any of these extremes. Right? That's very important to notice. Then, now, there's a misunderstanding at the beginning. I want to dispel that. How many of you had read Satipatthana Sutta? I think you may have heard certain classes about Satipatthana Sutta. You may have probably read partially about this sutta. You may have heard from third parties about this sutta. But if you read the sutta, you can see at the beginning, there is a phrase which goes this way. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo sattanam visuddhiya sok pariddavanam samtikkamaya kudomanassanam tandamaya nyaya sadhigamaya, etc. etc. Now, there is a word here that is used exclusively. Ekayano ayam maggo bhikkhave sat. There's only one way to purify the being's path. There's only one way that clears, that purifies the being's path, which helps them to overcome their all the issues in their life. That is Satipatthanas. Now, when you read the Noble Eightfold Path, you understand it is not Satipatthanas that lays the groundwork. That is the most important thing. It is the Noble Eightfold Path. Then how come there you see that Satipatthanas show the direct path? Actually, within that Noble Eightfold Path, Satipatthanas play a major role. All right? Noble Eightfold Path is the only path, the greatest path in Buddhism. But within that path, Satipatthanas play a bigger role. Now let's see some of the notes about this, and you will understand this. Okay, this Dhammapada verse. Magga nattangiko setto sacchānaṁ caturupada virago setto dhammanam dripadanam cha chakkhunam. See Dhammapada 273. Of all the paths, the Eightfold Noble Path is the best. Right? This is what we want to learn. It means there may be many paths in the Buddhist teachings, contextually speaking, like I would say when there are different teachings given to different people, but the only path is the Noble Eightfold Path. All else come under the Noble Eightfold Path. That means when you say that you have a Dhamma journey, what is your Dhamma journey? It is doing your own thing, or it is something that you are doing according to the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, when you say, I've been practicing my Dhamma thing, I've been on my Dhamma, what is your Dhamma journey? It should be. Your Dhamma journey should be the Noble Eightfold Path, nothing else. You might see that the Noble Eightfold Path, seems to be not your main focus, but you should understand that it should be your main focus all the time. How does Noble Eightfold Path become your main focus in your Dhamma journey? Now, you may have heard that there are 3 things that you have to work on in your Dhamma journey. What are they? Sila, Samadhi, Panya. How do they call them? What do you call them? You call them as three disciplines, Tisikha. Now you might wonder, how do these three make up the Noble Eightfold Path? Now you can see in here, I have shown you how do they come under the Noble Eightfold Path. See, in here. Okay. How do the three disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, serve the Noble Eightfold Path? Chula Vedala Sutta Nikaya 40. Pali wording goes. There's a conversation between two people. You can see over here. Is the Noble Eightfold Path fabricated or unfabricated? What is the Pali word here? Ariyo Panaye Attangiko Maku Sankato Udahu Asankatoti. Then you can see Ariyo also Visaka Attangamaku Sankatoti. It is fabricated, right? And are the three aggregates, that means Sila Samadhi Panya, included under the Noble Eightfold Path, or is the Noble Eightfold Path, Majjhima Patipada, included under the three aggregates? Now you can see the connection between, you're going to see that whether Sila Samadhi Panya, work under the Noble Eightfold Path, whether Noble Eightfold Path works under the three, what do you call Sila Samadhi Panya. Answer is, the three aggregates, Sila Samadhi Panya, are not included under the Noble Eightfold Path, but the Noble Eightfold Path is included under the three aggregates, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. You can see right speech, right action, right living, they come under the Sila. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, Sama Samadhi, come under the Samadhi. And right view and right intention come under the, what do you call, Panya. So Sila Samadhi Panya, they represent all these path factors. That means Sila Samadhi Panya, which you understand in your Dhamma journey, they are the ones that support somebody to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. That means when you practice Sila Samadhi Panya, that means you are practicing, on the other hand, the Noble Eightfold Path. Right? So, now the question is, what is the Noble Eightfold Path, which was given here? See, we are going to see a flyer. Okay. Now, I'm going to connect the Sila Samadhi Panya to the Noble Eightfold Path practice. The first two, right view, right intention, Samadhi, Sama Sankappa, they come under Panya part. Then Sama, what do you call, Sama Vacha, Sama Kammata, Sama Ajiva, that means right speech, right action, right living, come under Sila part. Then Sama Vayama, Sama Sati, Sama Samadhi, they come under Samadhi part. Here on the side, you can see that all these path factors individually must be practiced with another three path factors: right view, right effort, right mindfulness. Samadhi, Sama Vayama, Sama Sati. That means if you want to practice right view, you cannot practice right view without right view, right effort, right mindfulness. Let's say you want to practice Sama Sankappa, you cannot practice Sama Sankappa without right view, right effort, right mind. So are everything over here. See, take right living. You cannot practice right living without right view, right effort, right mind. So that is a must. On the both sides, you can see self-mortification and overindulgence. They are the extremes. So we are going to avoid these two and then getting to the middle point over here. Now, my question here to you is that you may have started your path from the Sila. From what? Sila. And you might think that you are going to Samadhi. And you might also think one day you are going to Panya. Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't that how you think about it? But today, I'm saying this order is incorrect. This is a cultural order. The order has to come from certain level of panya at the beginning, and then you go to sila, and then you go to samadhi, and then you go to the higher level of panya. Because if you don't understand what you are going to do, even sila, why do I practice sila? Why do I practice samadhi? And then you directly try to go into sila samadhi, you never know where you are heading to. And another thing that proves that you need a certain level of panya is that the presence of wisdom at the beginning of the Noble Eightfold Path. You can see the Buddha asks us to practice the Noble Eightfold Path from right view, right intention. They are wisdom path. At this point, you can see the higher wisdom arises. Like after right concentration, you see the higher wisdom arises. But at this point, these are also panya paths. But this panya is right view and right intention mean that you need to have the right view. Right view means the starting point of the Noble Eightfold Path, which means that you have to understand why do you practice this path? Why do I need to practice? Why do I have to start this practice? Why do I have to practice seed? Why do I have to practice good speech? All that. We need a level of understanding. In order to, make this sense, I would give you an example. Now, let's say sila. Can somebody think about sila? What is sila? Sila means the discipline of body and speech, right? Sila only helps you to discipline your body and speech. Can sila discipline your mind? Not directly. Right? Sila helps you to discipline your body and speech. But sila in its higher form means that you are not merely avoiding certain things. It's not, sila is not the mere avoidance of certain things. Sila is the intentional avoidance of certain akusala behaviors. Now, one very good example is a 3 months old baby has lots of sila, isn't it? A 3 months old baby does not kill, does not steal, does not sexually misbehave, does not have any idea about his sexual misbehavior, does not lie, does not take any beverages, food that can cloud his or her mind. So then 3 months old babies having more sila than you, isn't it? Isn't it? Maybe your grandchildren have more sila than you. Do you accept that? And you admit that? Those guys in your household, they have more sila than you. Would you like to accept that? Somebody's nodding, no. Then how do we understand that? Sila is not the mere avoidance of certain things. Sila is the intentional avoidance of those things. For example, somebody does not kill by understanding what is killing, and what will happen to me, what will bring this to me in the future, in my life, this life, and future lives. and somebody does not steal, by understanding stealing is not good, and this stealing will give me a lot of unnecessary consequences in my this life and future lives. Somebody does not sexually misbehave by understanding the consequences here and after. Somebody does not lie, understanding the consequences of here and the future. Somebody does not break Surameria by understanding this life and future life. Do you think that does this understanding go to a 3-month-old baby? Never go to that baby unless this person grows and then intentionally understanding what is happening. So for those people who are taking this so what do you call rigorously, so hard, need to understand that kind of what you call mere avoidance does not make you a Sila person. Now, my point is, how does someone understand this thing? Someone understands this particular thing that I or we cannot practice Sila without intentionally understanding the consequences through samadhi. Because you need a certain panya for that. Without panya, you will just do like those 3-month-old babies. You never know what you are doing. That's why this is what has been happening to many devotees. They go to the temple, Bhante give me the precept, then ask, why do you practice Sila? Yeah, Buddhists, we have to practice Sila. Right? If they are asked, what is the connection between Sila and your practice? They are not able to say anything about it. Why is it? That they don't know the middle part. They don't know the Noble Eightfold Path. How structured has it been? Right? So it's very important to understand this gradual practice. It is not just you start from Sila and go to Samadhi and Panya. It is that you start from certain level of Panya, a preliminary fundamental level of Panya, having an understanding why is this practice and why should I do this? That comes from a certain level of Panya. And then you are practicing Sila. Then you are going to Samadhi. Then you are going to, work on Panya, right? So this is how we are supposed to understand this Sila Samadhi Panya, not from Sila Samadhi Panya, as Panya, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Going back to the part, because I'm not going to detail everything today, because from the next day, I'm going to pick on every part factor, Samadhi one day, Dhammacakkappavattana another day, Dhammavacana another. So we can discuss. So today is kind of an overview about why is this important? Why should we understand the larger, broader, purpose of this Noble Eightfold Path is what I'm going to discuss, right? So now you understand our Dhamma journey is about the Noble Eightfold Path. And the Noble Eightfold Path is what you call consists of Panya, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. And then each path factor has to be practiced. Keep in mind, each path factor, whether Samadhi, Dhammacakkappavattana, and all that, must be practiced along with 3 supportive path factors. That one I think I have to explain today a little bit. Let's go to the text again here. Okay, let's take right view. Another question to understand about right view. How does someone practice right view? What does someone, or where does someone begin this practice? In order to understand, you have to read certain other suttas. Many suttas say that you cannot practice samadhi without starting the practice with yoniso manasikara, wise attention. Wise attention is the starting point even to the right view. Because a lot of akusalas, we are doing akusalas mainly because we are not giving wise attention to the moment, isn't it? If you had given wise attention to every moment, you would have never made an akusala. So every moment you are making an akusala because you are spoiled by the object. The moment you are spoiled by the object, you are creating number of akusalas, right? But you are not spoiled by akusala the moment you give wise attention to the object. Now, how does someone go to right view? Uh, you know, happens from Yoniso Mansikara. That means when you are looking at every phenomenon, every moment, every experience with wise attention, you are able to practice right view. What is right? What does wise attention mean? I think we have discussed that a little bit. Because without wise attention, you can't go to samadhi. That is our point of discussion today. What is right? Wise attention. Yoniso Mansikara. In short, wise attention means tracing any sensory experience down to its origin. That means we are normally taking a provisional outlook, a provisional understanding of our sensory experience. So I call the sensory experience is like an iceberg. We only see the tip of the iceberg. We are not trying to be aware of the whole iceberg, which is below the sea level. See the tip of the iceberg, but it is most of it is below the water, sea level. In the same way, when a sensory experience, be that a rupa, sight, sound, maybe a smell, maybe a taste, maybe a contact, maybe what you call a thought, when they arise, we only take that tip part and then we make the experience as it is, but in our own way. But if we are able to understand a little bit more about this whole experience, that means we are having Yoniso Mansikara. That means we are going to see the origin, see the roots of what it is. So the moment that we are able to see the origin, see the roots of that experience, then only we are able to understand, I have to then bring myself onto the samadhi. Now, it's a starting point after Yoniso Mansikara. Now we are going to look at Samadhi as an example to practice these supportive factors. You can see 1, 2, 3. Now, how does someone practice right view along with this mandatory? These are mandatory. These are not natural. Huh? Let's say now you want to practice right view after Yoniso Mansikara. When you practice Yoniso Mansikara, you are able to practice right view. Now, you need right view to practice right view. What does it mean? Can somebody think about it? You need right view to practice right view. It's very simple. Huh? Right view means samadhi. If I want to practice samadhi, I have to know what is micchaditi. Right? I have to know what is micchaditi. So how to separate out sammaditi from micchaditi from sammaditi? Then I need a certain samadhi as a supportive factor to understand that separation. Okay, so initially you need samadhi. Now, if you take right speech, let's say right speech, how do you know right speech from wrong speech? Then you need right view to understand what is wrong speech and what is right speech. So right view affects all these 5 factors. So even right view affects right view itself. Right? Then just because you understand right view from wrong view, would you think that you will be okay? It is not enough. Then you need samma vayam. You need right effort. You need some effort, right effort. Right effort is not kind of a hard working thing. A lot of people think that right effort means I have to wake up this time and sleep this time, but this, that. They're more focused on a kind of a hard working environment. But in Buddhism, keep in mind, it is an effortless effort. Buddhist practice is an effortless effort. That's why the Buddha said, this Dhamma is not for a hardworking man. Who is this Dhamma for? This Dhamma is for Panya Vantasaya Dhamma. Naya Dhammo Dupanas. This Dhamma is for the wise people, not for the intellectuals. Huh? You see, a long time ago when people translate this term, Dhamma is for intelligentsia. Interesting. It's incorrect. Then all these educated people have Dhamma, right? They have the practice of Dhamma. No, it might be a help to intellectuals, but what you call Panyavanta means not intellectuals. Panyavanta means those of them who have wisdom, the Buddhist wisdom, not the Hindu wisdom, not the Jain wisdom, not the English wisdom. This is called Buddhist wisdom. So this Dhamma is for the what you call wise people, at least for the people who are becoming wise in the long run. So now what we can understand is, just because you separate out what you call Samma Ditti from Miccha Ditti, you also need a certain right effort to bring that to the next level. Without right effort, I think this is very normal in our life. Let's say you are somebody who is practicing Dhamma. Time to time, you may have noticed that you have been lazy in your practice. And today I don't want to meditate. Today I don't want to practice Sila. Today I want to be a little spoiled. Today I want to be not doing this and that, right? So laziness can be natural to some people. That's why right effort is very important. Have to keep maintaining throughout the practice. So the moment you become lazy, akusala thoughts are trying to take that moment away from you, isn't it? That's why the Buddha said, when you do dana, do it as many times as you can, right? Because when you are not doing it, akusalas are trying to take that moment from you. Right? They are waiting for you. So trying to keep repeating all these good activities, which will help you to stay focused. So that means it's really a matter that whether we do maintain effort, right effort. So right effort is very important. We'll be studying that differently. But I would say, in order to practice right view, you need right view, you also need right effort. Because if you don't have right effort, you are not consistently putting effort onto having right view. The third thing is, just because you understand separation, separate out, distinguish, just because you have right effort, things are still difficult for you. The experience is still not, the practice is not still helpful to you to go ahead. Then you need one very important another thing, that is Samma Sati. It means right mindfulness. You need right mindfulness. I always say mindfulness is everywhere, but right mindfulness is hardly anywhere. That means you see mindfulness everywhere, therapy, relaxation, but the Buddha's mindfulness is right mindfulness, sati, Samma Sati. That means in order for you to understand that there is right view and there is right effort, you need to have a supervisor at all times. The supervisor comes from Samma Sati. That means with some certain satipatthana practices. Okay. You need certain appropriate satipatthana practices. Now, some people, they misunderstand satipatthana. They think satipatthana is a stand-alone practice. That means you only do it when you can. Actually, all our activities are satipatthanas, isn't it? Now you are sitting. What is your satipatthana now? Sitting meditation. Right? That means not closing your eyes. You know that you are sitting now. Now, in a moment of time after the Sutta discussion, maybe by 10 o'clock, then you stand. Then you might go somewhere. You might go to the washroom. You might take a shower, you might brush your teeth. It is also satipatthana. But for many people, satipatthana is either sit down and close the eyes and do a meditation, or they do a certain walking when they can. This is a misunderstanding. So all our actions, all our postures, all our tiny bit, small activities, they are all satipatthana practices. The problem is that you don't know that they are eligible for satipatthana practice. That means we need sammasati, right mindfulness, in order to practice even the first path factor, which you will practice after Yogiso Manasika. Right? In the same way, all the other path factors are supported by these three path factors. Let's take another path factor, samma vacha, right speech. How do you practice right speech? Can you think about it? If you want to practice right speech, then you have to understand what is right speech, what is wrong speech. How do you know that? Through samadhi. When you have the right view only, you can separate out, you can distinguish that this is right speech, this is wrong speech. Now you know this is right speech, this is wrong speech. Is it enough for you to practice samma vacha, right speech? Not enough. You need some effort. Some effort. Because when you are not putting certain right effort, then what will happen? You feel, today I supposed not to lie. Today I supposed not to hurt other people. Today I supposed not to gossip. Today I supposed not to talk behind the back. But somehow I've been doing that in some ways. Why is it? You are not putting enough effort onto that particular practice. So that's very important to understand. That means we need this right effort. That's very important. Otherwise, we know what it is, but we are not able to uh, do it. We are not able to practice it consistently. As I uh, told earlier, just because you know the difference, how to separate out good and bad, just because you have the right effort, things are not still easy for you. You need right mindfulness. Why do you need that? Do you know that there are different times on the day that you need to practice right speech? This is the moment that I should not gossip. This is the moment that I should not hurt. This is the person that I should not do this and that. So how do you know that? Because a practice with sammasati only helps you to go to that level. Now you understand all these noble eightfold path factors, eight path factors cannot be practiced without three main other path factors, supportive path factors. As you can see here once again, let me show you you can see over here. Even right speech must be practiced with right view, right effort, right mindful. Even right effort, right view, right effort, right mindful. Right mindfulness even, right view, right effort, right. Now this is why I say right mindfulness. That means meditation. Now there are people who directly go to meditation, isn't it? So how do they practice sammasati without right view, right effort? Because if they have not started the practice from right view, how come they directly go to sammasati? How come they practice satipatthana? Right? So without right view and all the previous path factors, someone cannot practice the rest of the path factors. That means this is a combined practice. Let's go to the notes. Probably we are dealing with the last couple of here. Noble Eightfold Path is not the Buddha's innovation. Shakyamuni Sambuddha, it was he reinvented. He founded it back. Okay? That's what he did. So it's not his own innovation according to his own teachings. And order, as I said, this is interesting. Somebody might think that in February, I practice Yoniso Manasikara. Maybe I go to Samadhi in March. Maybe I practice Samma Sankappa in April. And maybe in May, I practice Samma Kamma. I mean, they might use a couple of months to practice these 8. It's not that way. What you need to understand is just to get a sense of these 8 first, and then practice together, right? Practice together is the way how you're going to do it. Because sometimes when you have the right view, then you might only focus on it, then you will not focus on the rest of the path factors at the same time. So first understand each path factor separately, but in the practice, you practice them together. It's like driving a car, right? When you drive the car, you have to pay attention to all the activities, right? It's not just moving this and that, right? Before we go to the Q&A, let's see what else that we could not cover. Right. Yes, I think that's pretty much about this, and I would finish my discussion talk with a section here. Okay, let's discuss about these Pali words. Chakku karani, jnana karani, upasamaya, abhinyaya, sambodhaya, nibbana, samad. Okay, now the Noble Eightfold Path is the only path that leads to these things. Chakkukarani, Jnanakarani, Usamaya, Abhinyaya, Sambodha, Nibbana. Chakkukarani, what does Chakkukarani mean? Chakku means eyes. But what kind of eyes are being talked here, discussed here? It's not the naked eyes. Here, eyes mean Dhammacakku. That means you are able to use your Dhamma eye. Right? So that means when you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, you are having another eye that is going to replace your naked eyes. Naked eyes, we are only getting spoiled all the time. We are getting distracted all the time. But when you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, Majjhima Patipatti, middle path, you are indirectly developing a Dhamma eye. So that in order to develop Dhamma eye, the Noble Eightfold Path is the only thing to practice. Then, Jnana Karani. Jnana means knowledge. You would say Jnana, in other words, vision. Jnana Karani means this is the only path that gives rise to the right vision. Okay? That's interesting too. As you know, Buddha says in Sabbasava Sutta that Janatova Pasatova Sabbasava Kayamvada. Sometimes we know that this is bad, but we still do the bad thing. Why is it? A lot of people know that this is bad, but they still do it. The reason is they know it, but they don't see it at the time. Right? They know that this is gossiping. They know it. They know that gossiping is bad, but while they are gossiping, they don't see it. Right? Let's say this is what you call probably they understand this is hurting other people, but while they are hurting with bad speech, they do not see it at the time. So this jnana means that vision that you are able to see things at the time, not before and after, right? A lot of people, they see before and after. They see it before and they see it after and then they worry about it. But Buddha's way is that seeing at the time, being able to see at the time. Now, if you ask somebody who even make a lot of mistake, no, it's like vipassana, things, seeing things as they are. They quite know it. But when this happens actually in their life, they are not able to see it because they have not developed that practice. Right? So we need to see things at the time, during the time. Jnana Karani. Then Upasamaya. Upasamaya means peace. We all are looking for peace, isn't it? Since morning we are expecting, may I be well, happy and peaceful. I think we all make it. And we are saying that May you be well, happy, and then may the whole world be a place of peace. But it's not going to be peaceful the way how we think. The bad guys are always doing bad things. At the same time, peace has been uh, misunderstood. Peace has been wrongly interpreted, right? With all these racial problems, wars, ethnic issues, territorial issues, science interventions, right? All that, maybe religious issues. But the Buddha says if you really have the long lasting peace, that peace will arise through the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. The true peace, right? Somebody to be peaceful, you can also include them in under the Noble Eightfold Path practice. When you be able to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. That is what we call by Upasamaya. Then Abhinyaya. Abhinyaya means we call them uh, higher knowledges. Higher knowledges arise in somebody who practices meditation, who practices certain awareness things. Right? It's very clear. Sambodhaya. Sambodhaya means Samma Sambuddhahood. Right? What is it? Samma Sambuddhahood. Now even the Pacceka Buddha attains the Buddhahood, right? Isn't it? Pacceka Buddhas. So many Pacceka Buddhas appear after the Buddha passed away. There are no Pacceka Buddhas during the Buddha's time. They are appearing after the Buddha's time. And what is the difference between a Pacceka Buddha and Sammasam? I think all of you know that it is that Pacceka Buddhas cannot teach the Dhamma that they understood through their Buddha. Actually, if you look at Pacceka Buddha's inability is that they cannot put Dhamma into concepts. Now, this Panchakanda, five aggregates, I would say Noble Eightfold Path, they all are concepts at the end. Pacceka Buddhas don't know how to deliver it. Now, you may have seen people in your circles. Sometimes people are very knowledgeable, but when they ask to give a talk, when they ask to explain what it is, they are not able to explain. Why is it? They know it, but they don't know how to deliver it. Right? Maybe they can write it, but they cannot express it. Right? So here, Sambodhi means self-enlightenment at the same time being able to deliver it. Right? Sambodha. It only happens through the Noble Eightfold Path. And then Nibbana. Nibbana means to the perfect extinguishment of life. Actually, this word Nibbana has been used within a secular worldly context too. Can you think about that kind of a place in the Buddhist text? It was not only used in the extra mundane, transcendental context. Now you might think Nibbana is a very transcendental, awakening type of thing. But if you can remember, when Prince Siddhartha was walking here and there was a lady called Kisa Gotami, said some words about him. One stanza which states those statements is Nibbutta Nuna Somata, so and so forth. She says that if this person has a mother, then that mother is someone who has already been extinguished. This person's father has been already extinguished. Not that it's a physical fire, but that the fire of what you call these Lobhatu Samoha has been extinguished. If this person is already married, that person is also extinguished so far. Now, what is the Pali word for that? The past participle of that is Nibbutta, Nibbutta, Nibbana, Nibbutta. Let me probably show you the word. Maybe I can write it over here. Now, this is the Pali word that you know, right? Nibbana. As you can see over here, Nibbana. But the past participle of this word is Nibbutta. What does Nibbutta mean? Nibbutta mean? this someone who has been already extinguished, blown out. Now the what has been blown out? What has been extinguished? Lobadu Sammo. At least they are alive. Now, when you get to know people, when you know some people, they are creating a lot of fires. Huh? They are still creating lots of fires, and other people are getting burned all the time. But here, Kisa Gautami says to Prince Siddhartha, if you have a mother, I surely believe she has been extinguished. Not having attained Nibbana, but peaceful. So the word Nibbana has been used within the worldly context too. And then if you have a father, I surely believe that your father has been extinguished. He or she is not troubled by you. Very peaceful because of your presence. If you are married, of course, he was married by that time to Ashoka, and she has been very much extinguished. She should be somebody who is not that much disturbed, you know. So the word Nibbana and the worldly context of Nibbana's past participle, Nibbutta. Interesting. So here it says that Noble Eightfold Path leads someone to attain Nibbana, leads someone to attain Samma Sambuddha. All right, I think you understood the difference between Noble Eightfold Path's context, especially the practice in order and all that. Now I think we can go for the Q&A.
And good evening, Brother Bante. I would like to ask, because it's interesting to note that in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha never elaborated on the Noble Eightfold Path. The Buddha just sort of outlined the middle path that leads to enlightenment. But yet we see that Venerable Kondanya was able to attain Sotapannahood. And we also know that by the second sutta, the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, all 5 of the ascetics attained enlightenment. Now, that seems to sort of, to me, imply that we don't need to know Noble Eightfold Path to be able to attain enlightenment, because there was no elaboration like what Bante elaborated, that we must have samadhi to know, to have samadhi. We need to have what is right effort to ensure that if we understand it, then we put in the effort to practice the path, the sila, samadhi, panya, and so on. So could Bante sort of provide some light into this issue?
If you had the same level of understanding like Panchavaggiya bhikkhus, then we accept your statement. Panchavaggiya 5 ascetics, they had a certain level of understanding about the Dhamma. That's why the Buddha did not elaborate at that point.
Okay.
Yes, that's why the Buddha did not elaborate on that, because by mentioning that there are extremes, and then this is that and this, and there's only one person became a Sotapanna. So elaboration was not necessary because the audience was already informed well in their practice.
But you are supposed to be something that is not known.
Yeah, that's why for lay people like you need, now we have lots of other elaborations from other suttas which were given at other points. So we have to collect that knowledge and then to see the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not the sutta that we understand, it's the whole thing. Suttas were given to a certain audience, and you are not that audience. That audience was specific to that audience. And now you are, as a layperson, should look at it in your own context. So it was given to certain monks, which the Buddha had understood that they had this sansaric eligibility to understand the sutta at that level, in that context. That's why it was given to them without that much elaboration. Now, in another context, the Buddha asked Bhante Sariputta to explain the Noble Eightfold Path, especially the abstract of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta in details. We call it Satcha Vibhanga Sutta. So this is audience specific, and not that as a layperson to think that why he did not elaborate. So it's not relevant to us. We cannot think that way, because it was audience specific. It was not you. It was the Panchavagya Bhikkhu. That's why it was given to them in that minimal level.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Yes, please go ahead, Sister Kwa. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Bhante, I want to ask you the question when you said that the Bodhisattva talked to Lady Kisa Gotami.
Bodhisattva talked to Kisa Gotami?
I mean, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, you said somebody talked to her.
No, Kisa Gotami made a statement about Prince Siddhartha.
Oh, so it was what was this Kisa Gotami is not the Kisa Gotami of the mustard seed, right?
There are two versions going on. Something that it was the same Kisa Gotami, something that it was a different Kisa Gotami.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering the story. When did she mention it? Was it when Rahula was born, is it?
It was not specified that way.
And I'm wondering where is the resource
what's your context? What's your concern about this
because
thing?
I'm from Mahindrama Temple, and I'm really curious where the resources came from, because we have a small little book called Buddhism for Beginners. And it's just a small sentence, but I don't quite understand. I read it. They said that when Rahula was born, there was a lady who said something to Prince Siddhartha. Is that?
Now, don't go by the secondary books given by certain writers. If you're really serious about it, I will find the source for you next time.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering when did that happen? And but Bhante, just now you mentioned I don't quite understand about the extinguishment. Can you explain again?
Okay. So I was trying to explain that the word called Nibbana, we only understand Nibbana from a very transcendental, from a very liberation point of view. This is the liberation. But this Kisa Gotami's statement about the Prince Siddhartha's life shows that Nibbana, in its past participle, Nibbutta, Nibbuta, seem that it is also applicable to worldly life, secular life. That means as a layperson, even before you attain the liberation, that sansaric liberation, you can have a certain Nibbana. You may have lots of Nibbanic moments. That Nibbanic moments mean the peace, kind of a peace in your lay life. So when Kisa Gotami, whoever Kisa Gotami is to say that your father must be extinguished, your mother must be extinguished, your wife must be extinguished, they must be very peaceful. They became peaceful because of your presence, because of your life. Actually, we normally say that to other people, time to time, not with the Nibbanic word. In our normal language, you must have a very good life. You must have a very good father, mother, because we can feel your peace. That worldly kind of peace. So that worldly kind of peace also was given by the word Nibbuta, pretty much from the past participle form of the Pali grammar of Nibbana. Make sense? Any other questions?
Yes. Bhante, we have a question from Brother Yap on the chat box. Bhante, shall we say Yoniso Manasikara will lead to the full understanding of Paticca Samuppada? So this was posted at 9:37.
Yeah. Well, Paticca Samuppada is the conditionality. I mean, conditionality cannot be understood without understanding certain Dhamma things, let's say cause and effect. Now, when you have wise attention, it leads to right view. When you have right view, it leads to samma sankappa, right intention. So you can understand Paටිsamuppada, dependent origination, separately. At the same time, you can understand Paටිsamuppada that's embedded in other Dhamma concepts. So I think Paටිsamuppada has to be understood in two contexts. So yes, Yoniso Manasikara definitely helps us to trace back and trace forward. Trace back, trace forward. That means cause, effect, effect, cause, effect. Yes.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Right.
Are there any other
Questions?
questions for Bhante or comments for Bhante? Yes. Yes, Brother To. Sister To. Yes, please go ahead.
Mhm.
Evening, Bhante. From last session, I've been trying to understand on effortless effort, because in the supreme efforts, we need to put a lot of effort, even when we have already the wholesome and the unwholesome states that I have to look into and consider. So I'm trying to see what really does it really mean to be effortless effort, because everything to put in effort is actually effort. I'm trying to still practice with effortless, which I find it quite difficult. Bhante, can Bhante
I
please?
think you are struggling with the word with its loaded translation. Every word has a loaded translation. I'm trying to say, try to avoid the hard-working part. Now here, effort means that you are not hard-working on that, which has happened to many people's Dhamma practice. They are hard-working. This effort is a mental effort. You don't have to suppress yourself. The more you understand what is supposed to be done, then the more you are comfortable to practice it. That means in meditation, timing, posture, when it comes to sila, taking sila as a rule, then practicing everything as a perfectionist. These are actually being done by many people as a hard work. So when you understand the Dhamma well, then you are trying to practice without an effort. You are not trying to effort. Like you may have seen some people, they talk, they don't try to make a lot of effort, but they are natural speaking. You feel like they sing a song, it's pretty natural. They're not doing lots of effort. It's pretty natural. So Dhamma practice has to be a smooth one, not a dry one. Because if you're too much hard on that practice, things are not going to work for you. This is, the example was given by the Buddha in regard to a monk called Sona. Bhante Sona was not happy about his practice. He decided probably to leave. And then the Buddha said, okay, I cannot give you an example. I will give an example from your life. Were you a musician before? He said, yes. Then how about your veena? How did you play veena? Like, how is the perfect way to play the veena? Then the Buddha asked a question. What if that you are trying to play the veena when the strings with the strings too tight? Then he says to Buddha, it is not going to work. What if that you are going to play the veena by having your strings were too slack, too loose, and then would you give, have the perfect what you call musical tuning? And he said no. Then what if that there is a perfect balance? Right? That means in the Dhamma, too less effort and too much effort, these both cause issues in our Dhamma practice. Now you are saying that without too much effort, I cannot practice Dhamma. That's not going to work. But there is somebody who might say, no, I don't want to practice anything out of all these things. That is also a problem. What I'm saying is that finding that perfect balance. So when you find that perfect balance, you might struggle with the wording, effort. How come there is an effortless effort? So I'm trying to make you curious. Effortless effort means that you know that I'm not doing too much, I'm not doing too less. And try to find that place. This is individualistic. One person might say, I only do a 5-minute meditation every day. I'm very calm. Another person say, Bhante, I do a one hour meditation 2 weeks a day. Now, who is doing the meditation properly? A 2 hours person for a week or 5 minutes person every day? So we have no problem with the timing. Buddha did not say that you have to practice 1 hour, 2 hours. I think hour, minutes, seconds were not at that time. They were not accepted ways to look at the timing. It is the way how you can put something into your practice. It could be a couple of minutes. It could be a certain small project. Do some small things in a daily practice without being so much taken away by unnecessary levels of your practice. So effortless effort means a practice that is not too hard or too slack. That is what you need to think about.
Thank you, Bhante. I got it now. The wisdom factor is there. Yeah, I understand it.
I think somebody also asking the same question, and which I just explained. Balance, it's balance. All right. Any other questions? We have 6 more minutes.
Sister Hui Tek, right? So is that okay? Bhante has responded to your question. Can the effortless effort, can that be putting effort with balanced faculties, right? If you have any follow-up, please feel free to ask Bhante directly as well.
Yes. Don't think that others will ask you a question. Huh? You have to ask your question. Don't wait. Somebody else will ask the questions on behalf of you.
Please, yes, Brother, you go ahead. You unmute, yes.
Yeah, Bhante. Couldn't raise my hand just now. All right, I just want to understand further on Yoniso Manasikara, which is very widely used when it comes to the practice of meditation. How do we actually really use it? Is it something something that is more elaborate than Sampajana, and it is actually the whole context of Dhamma Vichaya?
There are different contexts. Sampajana comes under Satipatthana Sutta, and Dhammacakkappavattana comes under a broader practice. Like when you keep practicing, you will need to do certain bojjhangas. But Yoniso Manasikara is a very basic level of practice, which helps you to fine-tune your Dhamma practice, where you are heading to Satipatthana, Sampajana, Dhammacakkappavattana. Yoniso Manasikara simply means that developing an ability to trace your sensory experiences, because we are always dealing with sensory experiences, Chakku Viññāna, Sutta, Gana, Jivha, Kaya, Mana, all that. We developing an ability to trace any sensory experience to or down to its origin every moment. While we are engaging in our sensory experiences, we are not doing that. So we are going to practice Ayoniso Manasikara. So that means this is a spot check actually. You spot check the akusala at the time or before the time upfront. Now let's say you may do a meditation, you may do another practice, but initially you are dealing with the akusalas or kusalas. I think we are mostly dealing with akusalas. Some people they succumb to akusalas. It is because that they are not understanding Yoniso Manasikara's method. That means they have to see what is the origin of this particular akusala, this particular experience. So tracing any sensory experience down to its origin, down to its roots, is the Yoniso Manasikara. And we have to do it all the time.
So in the context, Bhante, is something that we need to observe very carefully, very intensively. We are not supposed to make any intellectual comment or come up with any thoughts based on concepts when it comes to Yoniso Manasikara.
Well, concepts are coming up. Don't hasten to judge them. Don't hasten to theorize them. We theorize them all the time with sanya. Don't become a theorizer. Say things are happening to us. We see a world. Other people show us different responses to us. Do not try to rush to make decisions about it. Rather than see what is this experience, where is this sensory experience coming from, and that approach is Yonisho Manasikara. Helps us to filter out kusala, akusala from kusala from akusala, and then to focus on satipatthanas at a later stage. All right.
All right. I'll do that.
This is Sonia. I think somebody is here too. I don't know. I mean, yeah, having time. All right. Yes.
Brother Sun, do
yes.
we see your raised hand. Bhante, do we have time for one more, or should we leave it for next week?
Yeah, we have to make time.
Okay,
Yes,
brother,
please go ahead. Maybe the last
yes.
question. Yes.
Hi, good evening, Bhante. Would like to ask questions. So if a person have a lot of body pain, so it's very hard to focus on the meditations. So in these circumstances, what would be the recommendations to improve the meditations?
Well, there are certain meditations you can do. You are not specifying what kind of body pain is this. Is this a cancer? Is this a back pain? We never know. Are you trying to specify the pain? What it is?
It could be stomach pain. It could be spine pain, bed pain. So if we try to sitting on the straight posture, it's quite distracting. So we can't sit too long. So with this, the meditation's feeling is not profound. The overall feeling is not good.
Yeah. Normally, but the Buddha says that we have to take care of us. We have to look for the treatments. Without getting treatments, looking for a meditation for pain is not a good idea. If you have a stomach ache, if it is not chronic, then definitely you are going for the treatments, right? Because Buddha says, "Arogya Paramalabha," the greatest gift that we ever get is health. That is one side. Second side is, if you think that this is really a nuisance till you recover, probably you may change to a different meditation, maybe a walking meditation, right? So there are different types of meditations to practice. Yeah. Lots of meditation practices under Satipatthana exercises.
All right.
All right. Yes.
Bhante, this is regarding the idea that you talked about just now. You mentioned that we know that it is wrong to gossip. Okay, yet we gossip. Okay. Bhante.
Not we,
say,
many.
Yeah. We as in
yes.
everybody. We as in everybody. Bhante, you say that we have developed right view because we understand that gossip is wrong. That is one part of it. But our effort is not enough because we still gossip. Did I read you correctly?
Well, provisional. It's provisional. I would say this is a two contexts. I was trying to say a lot of people know that there are unwholesome things in their life. But when the circumstances arise, conditions arise, they totally forget it because their effort is not that enough. And their mindfulness level is not enough. That means they are not doing enough for that particular, management of that particular akusala. That's what I was trying to say.
Right. That means to say, when they were practicing their meditation, the effort that's put in for sati is not enough. Right?
What is it?
When they are practicing their meditation, the effort that we put in on sati is not enough.
It might be not, because we need the three supportive factors equally, not that one is better than the other. You are trying to make an argument that mindfulness is better than all the other two. No,
yes, Bhante,
you can't say so, right? Because somebody might think then that person's right view is not enough. That's why this person partially see the problem, partially does not see the problem. Right?
Bhante,
So what I can
understand.
say is these 3 path factors are essential. Yeah.
Bhante, I understand your session today is very important because it is an overriding. It actually means that all the 8 noble paths that we are practicing is interrelated. There's no one that is bigger than the other.
Yeah, integrated. It's a mistake to think that one is better than the other. Some people, they directly jump onto the Samma Sati. This is the problem. And then they tell us that my meditation is not going anywhere. All right, I think time is up already.
Yes, so your
let's-
objective is already attained.